I had been living in Brazil for about 5 years around this time. The most popular choice for food on a weekend was usually pizza, which explained why there were more pizzerias than anything else in the neighborhood. But that night, I wanted something different. Japanese food was also quite popular, but it was also expensive and I wasn't really in the mood for cold sushi on a cold night. I searched through the pile of leaflets that I had accumulated over the years. Most of them were very old and probably no longer reflected the pricing at all. Some of the numbers weren't even in service anymore. Then I found an advertisement at the very bottom of the pile for a Mexican restaurant not too far from where I was living. I had never seen the flyer before, let alone the restaurant, which seemed really strange since I was quite familiar with the street where it was located. It looked like a family-run business, and the food looked really delicious. I decided to give the number a try, and someone instantly picked up. I was quite surprised to hear a Spanish-speaking man on the other end of the line, especially since the native language in Brazil is Portuguese. Somehow, despite the language barrier, I managed to complete my order. I provided the address along with some reference points to make it easier to find me. I would usually wait around 45 minutes for a delivery, but I grew increasingly concerned when almost 2 hours had passed with no sign of anyone. I started to wonder if maybe he noted down the address incorrectly or got lost. I looked at the clock and saw that the restaurant was due to close very soon. I was about to call the restaurant again, but decided to look out the window first. I was shocked to see a skinny-looking man standing outside the garage gate, holding a bag waving at me. I thought it might have been someone from the street asking for money or food, but he lifted the bag and pointed to its contents, so I figured it must have been a delivery. I couldn't figure out why he didn't simply ring the bell or at least beep the horn to let me know that he had arrived. I had this uncanny feeling that he had been standing outside for quite some time, just waiting in front of the house. I didn't feel comfortable opening the gate for this guy, so I asked him to pass the food through the bars. I recognized his voice instantly. It was the same guy that had answered the phone when I called the restaurant, which I thought was a bit strange because most restaurants hired someone else to make the deliveries. I don't exactly remember the amount, but I paid him what I owed, minus the tip for making me wait so long. As I got back into the house, something occurred to me. There was no sign of a car or a motorbike parked outside on the street when I was at the gate, and I didn't hear the sound of an engine after he left. It almost seemed like he had walked all the way to the house in order to make the delivery. I guess it did explain why I didn't hear the beep of a horn, but it was still creepy, especially considering how late it was. As I opened the contents of each box, I was presented with cold, dry leftover food that looked at least 2 days old. I only took 2 bites before throwing all the food into the trash. I don't exactly remember when, but things got even creepier just a few days later. I received an unexpected call very late at night. It was the same guy with the distinctive voice from the Mexican restaurant, asking me if I liked the food and when I was planning to make another order, and it felt like he was trying to pressure me into ordering something else. I really wanted to give this guy a piece of my mind and hang up the phone, but since he was a creep and knew where I lived, I thought I would save myself the trouble by politely telling him that the food was okay, but it wasn't the type of food that I ate very often. After that, I couldn't shake this feeling that the creep from the restaurant was still expecting me to call him back, and I felt a little anxious every time I heard the phone ring at night. A few weeks later, on a wet, rainy night, I received another phone call. This time, it was just silence, and then whoever it was just simply hung up. I convinced myself it was just a wrong number, and I chose to ignore the fact that I had received that call around the same time as before, just moments before the Mexican restaurant was due to close. Before heading back upstairs, I approached the window to watch the rain outside, only to witness something that still terrifies me to this day. I remember the gut-wrenching feeling of my heart pounding through my chest as I slowly pulled back the curtain and saw a dark figure standing directly in front of the gate outside. For a moment I couldn't breathe, but I could feel the blood in my veins rush down to my feet, and I instantly felt lightheaded. I stood there completely frozen, ready to pass out until I realized it was just some other guy facing away from me, trying his best to avoid the pouring rain. I let out a strong sigh of relief. I will never forget that night, or the creepy delivery guy, and I look forward to putting this whole nightmare behind me, once and for all.